2026 I said that when we're done by year's end, you start what I call the countdown. Do you recall? 2026 is the year that begins the countdown.
So welcome to the gospel. On this channel, you are going to get soul-lifting message, faith content, and video that will help you to grow your spiritual life. Remember, don't forget to subscribe this channel for more new video updates.
It begins a countdown, and it is important that God's people realize where our world is going and what's going to be happening from 2026. That year begins a countdown. And there are many things that you're going to be doing more than you ever did before. For example, you're going to be praying more than you ever prayed before. You're going to be praying more than you ever prayed before. What does that even mean? That you're going to be praying more than you ever prayed before. I believe we do have a choice in the spirit. Right? Can I tell you what the choice is in the spirit? We do have a choice. Either we begin praying more than we ever prayed before by choice, or we're going to be made to pray more than we ever prayed before. Which one would you choose? That's up to you. But remember, this has to do with individuals as well as churches and the church of Christ as a whole. I'll give you a little bit of an illustration. I won't have to tell you the whole story. But I was, years ago, we were getting ready to fly. We had been away for some programs, and we were taking off from Johannesburg. So all the time as the hour, and the moment got closer and closer to when we should be flying, I was very uncomfortable in my spirit. Unusually uncomfortable in my spirit. And I was saying, Lord, why am I so uncomfortable in my spirit about flying today? Do I cancel the flight? Do I reschedule? Why? What's happening? And every now and then I will sneak away to go pray. Pray. Just wasn't sure. So I thought, is something wrong with the weather? Now, weather in Johannesburg was beautiful, and there were no expectations of anything unusual. Weather was beautiful. So I thought, maybe there's a problem over in Lagos. And for the first time, I had to, get on my device and try to find out what the weather was in Lagos by the time we should be landing. I thought maybe there's a problem over there. Is the weather bad? Something wrong? I checked, nothing unusual. So I prayed again. So while I was still on my knees and talking to the Lord, He responded in an interesting way. First, He gave me an instruction to go earlier than scheduled. So not like you go, arrive at your time and move even later, but earlier. So that was one. Then He said something interesting, and that's the reason I'm giving you this story in the first place. He said, this is one flight in which you're going to be praying a lot. I said, praying a lot. So should I cancel then? He says, no. You go. And I'm going to be praying a lot about this flight, and in this flight. Yes. I didn't know what that meant. So I told everybody, we're moving, no lateness. Make sure we're there earlier. So we arrived earlier at the airport. And since we're early, I said, so we might as well just go. We're already here. Let's go. We don't have to wait till the time we scheduled. We're here. And the captain was ready, and they said, oh, good, we go. Now, as we were moving to the plane, there was this unusual breeze. But, I didn't think anything serious. Just hurry and get in the plane anyway. So we got in the plane. Fasten your seatbelts. The moment the plane got off, once the wheels were off the ground, the wind collected it. And the next thing we knew was vroom to the side. We're supposed to be going like this, but the plane goes like this. And then carried up. And it was like paper in the air. Sideways, to the left, then to the right, then up, then down. And these guys were revving you could hear the sound of the plane struggling in the wind. I got it now. No wonder he said you're going to be praying. Of course, we let out powerful tongues. Reverend Tom was there, Reverend Ray, Evangelist, Dr. Eddie Owase. It was time to pray. And this time, not just praying quietly. We opened our mouths. Talking to the wind, talking to the plane, talking to whatever was out there. You have to hear us now. We knew that we couldn't be asking the pilot what's going on, do what. No. We have to use our mouths to control this thing. But it wasn't going to be for just 1 minute. This was on for quite a while. I'd never been in a flight like that. The pilots themselves had never been in a flight like that. And here was the interesting thing the man said later. He said, if we had left later than we did, he said, we would have not been able to leave the South African airspace. It was so bad. The weather was terrible. And then they said they hadn't had such a weather for 90 years. 90 years. Buildings were destroyed. All this followed, this was a terrible thing. But we were in the air and we were really praying and praying and praying and praying and praying. Up, we prayed. It went down. We prayed to the side, this way and that. But we continued praying. But I remembered what the Lord said. So I knew I was not supposed to stop the praying. I was to continue the praying until there was no need to pray. But we prayed a long time. Do you get it now? So when the Lord says you're going to pray more than ever before, you better make a decision whether you're going to pray by choice because you love the Lord and you want to do what He told you to do, or else you're going to be praying and really praying because of circumstances. Which one do you choose? The first one, we have a choice. We have a choice. So for that one, don't wait. Don't wait. You just begin. Begin. Start having your prayer plan now. Okay? So in 2026, you're going to pray more than before. Start having your prayer plan. Don't be pushed by circumstances into prayer. Make the decision. Because the Lord told us already, men ought always to pray and not to faint. Agreed? Okay. Glory be to God. I want the choir to lead us in another song as we get ready to serve the communion.